What's better than having a penguin on top of your television set? Well, it's someone who's an expert on penguins and helping and saving them right here on our computer screens on this very special episode of Dave's Gone By. We are welcoming back, for the first time in like 15 years, DYAN DENAPOLI, who has written, as you see behind her, books about penguins, because not only has she done the research, she's physically been in the trenches, the oil-soaked trenches, helping our feathered penguiny bouncy friends. So DYAN, how have you been since we last saw you?
I've been great, Dave. Thanks so much for having me back. It's been a long time, but it's great to see you and great to be back with you.
You too. You too.
Yeah.
So when we were to, you had that book out. It was just out. It
Yes.
was I can't read it from here.
The
What's
Great Penguin Rescue,
great which detailed.
which details the rescue of 40,000 penguins from the treasure oil spill in South Africa, which was the world's largest and most successful animal rescue in history and still stands as such to this day.
Wow. And you were physically there, like brushing with woolites or something. Or what did you put on them? Like dishwashing liquid or anything, or
Yeah, well, we did. I was there as a room manager. So I was part of the first team of penguin experts to fly to Cape Town, South Africa, where this spill occurred, from the United States. And so we were basically managing the care of the penguins until they could get their turn to go into the washroom, where they were then scrubbed with basically a dishwashing soap.
wow. So have you done other penguin rescues since, or not rescue, but you know what I'm saying? Since then, have you been in the trenches again?
I have not almost, when we had the BP oil spill here down
Hmm.
south, I was all lined up to go. I'd gone through the sort of the preliminary screening and everything. And then shortly before that, I was supposed to go down to help with the pelicans and all the birds down there. Ricky Ott, who is a marine toxicologist, her book had come out about the after effects of the Corexit, which was used to disperse the oil on the surface. And basically, they use the entire world um, collection of that corrects it in the Gulf of Mexico. And the problem with that is that it caused all sorts of impacts in the people, the workers. So they had known from this Exxon Valdez spill years ago. That's what she was studying. Sorry, I said
Right.
that a
Yeah,
little backwards,
got
a
it.
little confusing. But anyway, it causes kidney problems and neurological problems and all sorts of issues. And I was born with one kidney, and I kind of want to keep it.
Understood.
So
Understandable.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I made the really, really difficult decision to not go at the last minute. It was excruciatingly difficult not to go because having been through that experience before, I knew how grueling it was, but also how rewarding it was to be able to help those animals. So yeah.
But you've
So
been doing your bit by doing TED Talks, actual TED Talks, and you do have like other book. When did that come out?
I do. So All About Penguins is my first children's book. And
Hmm.
that came out during the first year of COVID. A publisher contacted me about a month into COVID. And of course, all my speaking gigs had been canceled, everything shut down for a long time. And so they said, yeah, we have this concept for a children's book. Would you be interested in writing it? I said, yes. And so that was great. It kept me busy, for most of
Yeah.
2020 and gave me a little bit of income. So that was nice.
And so since then, now you are a lecturing expert on penguins and conservation, I'm sure, and all that. So
Yes.
what have you been up to in the summer, and what's on tap for you shortly?
Well, the most recent sort of big thing that I did, and since I met you, like you said, I've done 5 TEDx talks and a TED Ed video for the classroom. And then I've also been back to Antarctica 4 more times since we first met. Yeah, which has been amazing. It's like my favorite gig on the planet. I go usually as a guest lecturer on ships that are bringing tourists to Antarctica. And so I've gone twice with National Geographic and Lindblad. And this past February, I was there for another 2 weeks with Ponant, which is a French company, but they were partnering with Smithsonian Journeys. So
Oh,
that was my fifth trip to Antarctica, and it's a mind-blowing place. I highly recommend it if you can get there.
all right. Well, last question for
Yeah.
Diane DiNapoli then. What is the most surprising thing to someone who's never even thought of going to Antarctica? What is the most amazing, surprising thing about it?
Oh God, it's otherworldly. It's just you feel like you've been dropped onto another planet. I've traveled a lot, around the world, and I've just never been any place quite like it. And I think the sort of the biggest impression I always get there is the vastness of it. You can't even describe the scale of how enormous the vistas are, and the peace. It's so serene, it's so quiet, it's so pristine, and you don't realize until you sort of come back to South America when you're sailing back across the Drake Passage, which has these huge seas, and you start coming to South America, you realize, oh, I haven't seen green in the last few weeks. The colors in Antarctica are basically white, blue, and gray.
Huh.
It's sort of this very subdued palette, and you don't quite it's so beautiful though, but you don't quite realize it till you kind of come back to, the rest of the world.
Well, thank you so much for that colorful answer, Diane DeNapoli. Please get her books, and thank you very, very much for returning to us well, well, far away from Antarctica here in the neighborhood.
Well, thank you, and congratulations on your 1000th episode.